Do you want to set up a cheap and reliable NAS for around $200? Today, I'm going to teach you how to set up a cheap and reliable NAS, a budget NAS. So instead of buying one of these pre-built ones, it can cost up to $800. If you have a PC lying around, it can cost you as little as $200 or just the price of the drives. So we have two 18 terabyte IronWolf Pros for $175 each, which is $350, and then it's going to be around $50 for the Dell Precision. This is just an old workstation we had laying around here at the office, just decommissioned, and it could be the same kind of idea for a PC or a system that you don't really use anymore, that's like laying around in your closet, just blow some dust off of it, and it could be a nice NAS for you at home. Repurposing your old technology, and you'd save a lot of money doing that. So yeah, you can either find an old computer laying around, or you can buy one of these old workstations. You could probably find one, honestly, on like Facebook Marketplace for really cheap, or just on eBay, or you can just ask, one of your friends if they have something laying around that reasonably sustained, just running some drives. If you're gonna buy one, Dell Optiplexes are actually a great solution. They're pretty cheap, and they're just old workstations that businesses usually just throw out. With some luck, you can find some pretty cheap just workstations and computers, as long as it fits the drives that we're trying to put in our system. And doing some research on what the system is that you're purchasing or that you have laying around, it can really give you some more information about the drives it can support. So this is just an old PC we had in the office laying around. It is a little bit overkill, but this one was just laying around. It's just an older Precision that we are no longer using. But due to this, it is effectively free for us to use and to repurpose to build a NAS. If your system only has like 2 drive bays and one of them is a boot drive, there's an easy solution to that, because we want to use the 2 drive bays for the drives that we're going to be putting into the NAS. So this was our old boot drive, which is this dinky little 500 gigabyte Western Digital Blue. A way that you can get rid of that older boot drive is that you can just replace it with a solid state drive. As most people know, solid state drives, they don't have any moving parts. They're a lot smaller, and you can just basically mount them anywhere in the system. So as you can see, the system is a little overcrowded. There's only 2 drive bays completely dedicated for the NAS. The very first thing we want to do is, after you make sure that it boots, is that you want to make sure that it's stable. So run a mem test, one of the first steps, because RAM can be very difficult to troubleshoot, give you a lot of issues down the line. Once you know that your system is working and in good shape, next thing you want to do is probably clean it. You want to make sure your drives have good airflow. These business workstations don't really ever get cleaned. So you want to clean out your system of all the old dust and all the dead skin that's probably floating around in there. It's probably pretty nasty. The system is in working condition, you cleaned it. We're gonna go ahead and install the drives. Boom, drive. Boom, tray. Now they're combined. Yeah, so if you're having trouble, just look it up online. Workstations are pretty common and well supported, well documented. This one's a little sketchy. You have to gently pry open the tray and then gently place it into the tray. We got the generic Dell tray onto our hard drive, and now we're gonna put it into our computer. For our system, we had originally, I mentioned, this boot drive, and we just threw in our budget SanDisk $30 SSD. It's like 240 gigabytes. It's only $30. It's a good budget option for our budget NAS build. So last thing we need is, before we install them into our machine, is that we need SATA cables, of course. But a good thing for us is that I yoinked some from the warehouse. Whoosh! I'm back with the SATA cables, and boom! They're already in there. Now that you have a stable system, a clean system with drives, trays, and cables, now it's just time for us to assemble everything. For the SSD, we just threw it in there. You could tape it down somewhere. You could just leave it. Do whatever you want. I don't control your life. For HDDs though, they do need to be placed in their trays, as we have done here. Depending if the SATA cables are installed already on your machine or how your workstation is configured, you just have to plug it into your motherboard. And here we plug the SATA cables. I'm gonna go ahead and install the drives. Got the trays on the drives. Got the SATA cables in the computer. Now all we have to do is whoop. Boom. 4 cables, 4 connections. We just made 4 babies. We just made 2 babies. So now that the drives are installed and your system is all put together, now would be a great time to just run some tests. You want to make sure everything is in good health before setting up our NAS software. So there are a few testing programs that you can use to check the life or health of your drives. I would recommend HD Sentinel or Crystal Disk Info or C Tools. All three of those programs will give you a good idea of how your hard drives are running. We have the system all set up. We're gonna run some tests. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at the drives and the health of the drives with HD Sentinel. We're gonna do a little test and move forward from there. Great, so we just finished the tests on HD Sentinel. There are no bad sectors. Drive health is at 100%. We're gonna go ahead and set up our RAID 1 or mirror redundancy setup for our NAS. Windows isn't really the best operating system to set up your NAS, but is the most widely used and available. So here we're in Windows now, and we're gonna go ahead and set up the RAID. What you're gonna do is go into the Windows Start menu, and you're gonna look up storage spaces. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. It's called Manage Storage Spaces. We're gonna go ahead and click that, and it's gonna pull up this screen right here. It's gonna say create a new pool and storage space. We're gonna select the drives now, the ones that we're going to be using in our RAID array. So these are the two drives here that we just attached to this workstation. We're gonna go ahead and click create pool. Here is now the settings for the type of pool we're gonna use. A RAID 1 is this two-way mirror. If you don't know what that is, a two-way mirror storage space writes 2 copies of your data, helping to protect you from a single drive failure. So if one of the drives fails, you got 2 copies of everything. So we're gonna go ahead and name it our storage space whatever we want. Whatever we want. We're gonna set the drive letter to also whatever we want. And we're gonna go ahead and click create storage space. Windows is gonna go ahead and create the storage space, and boom, look at that. It already shows up in our autoplay. We can go ahead and view it in our Windows Explorer in our PC as shown right here. We have our 2 drives at 18 terabytes. It goes down to 16, and now it is redundant. So if you actually want to know more about RAID arrays and different kinds of RAID arrays and the optimal OS to do all of this on, go ahead and click that subscribe button, smash that like button, hit the bell icon. Bing, 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 bing. I want to see it. I want to see y'all go crazy on this. But yeah, just keep in mind though that this isn't the backup for you. It is good to have redundancy, but best practice to keep your data at a different location or all backed up in a service like Backblaze or something. Now you have your RAID set up and it's in redundancy, but this is a NAS, so that is network attached storage. So you want to make this available for the whole network, but on Windows it is quite easy. We're just going to go ahead and open the Windows Explorer. We are going to go into the RAID array that we just set up, and we're going to go ahead and open and create a new folder. NAS. We're going to right click this folder that we just created, open the properties, and we're going to go ahead and click the sharing. And there is advanced sharing. Of course, you need permissions for this, and we're going to share this folder. Now this folder that we created and shared will be available to everyone on the network that has a username and password. Now this folder can be used by everyone in the network. If this is at home, it's all set up now, you have the folder, and you could throw the computer in a closet or something. Yes, and if this is your at-home NAS, make sure you edit your sleep settings so it doesn't turn off randomly. Go into the Windows Start menu and type sleep settings, and it'll show up all the different settings for that. But yeah, go ahead and check if it works with another device. And that's how you set up a budget NAS for $400 using drives from ServerPartDeals. It's very easy to set up, very cheap. Now you have a NAS for your home office for your setup. And the best part about it, it was only $400 or even less depending on if you had a computer or if you had some of these parts laying around already. If you need drives, go ahead and check out ServerPartDeals.com. We have a bunch of sales and things going on all the time. Right now, the drives that we have in this video are only $175 for the IronWolf Pros at 18 terabytes. Whatever you need for your particular system, we probably have it. So go ahead and check it out. Go ahead, smash that like button, click the subscribe. Let us know what you want to see next in the comments. I'll personally review every single comment and be very hurt if you say something mean. Catch you next time. Bye.